As a teenage girl, I never fit in with the like beauty standards. I was always the chubby, awkward girl. Push it down, push it down, push it down. Keep being happy, keep doing what you need to do. And one day it just completely came out of the blue. I just completely snapped. I had this overwhelming feeling of dread and embarrassment because I'd always been the happy, smiley, loud girl. If I didn't draw the line then, who knows where I would have ended up. Check on the happiest people because they're the best at hiding it. I think for women who want to progress, you need to be loud, you do need to cause some problems.
Competing for a fitness bikini competition, did that impact your mental health?
I would say
Hello, it's your weekly dose of the Money Honey. Here we are again, another week, another episode with me, your host, Rosalia Lazzarettilli. And this week, I'm going to be looking at a topic that I'm sure we can all relate to and have been through at some point in our lives. I know I certainly have. And that is when you're finding yourself in this like doom and gloom state where perhaps you have come at a stage in your life that feels a little bit stuck, like you're struggling with it mentally, you don't know where to turn to. It might not be career-wise, it might be personal, and you're trying to navigate your career and your personal state of well-being at the same time. My goodness, I've been through it even just this summer, definitely. I have a phenomenal business, but certain things health-wise took its toll. I wouldn't say how, I don't really want to disclose at the moment my story of what's happened. I will be ready at some point to talk about it. Some of you who are very, very close to me do know what's happened, but you know, it's trying to stay true and be authentic and be honest when actually you're not ready to talk about something. So how do you deal with those situations? How do you keep elevating your career? How do you advance? How do you, even just get up in the morning and have a productive, thriving day? So that's the topic we're going to handle today because I've invited a very special guest who I've never met before. As you guys all know, when you listen to this, I basically talk to a bunch of strangers every month because we never meet, but we're like LinkedIn friends or we're on Instagram friends. So I've never fully had a conversation with this lovely lady with me here today, but she has entered a new role in her life, in her career. She has come from perhaps a place in her life that she wants to put behind her, but she nonetheless, I'm sure, is grateful for that period in her life because it's led her to where she is today. So without further ado, I am so eager and excited to welcome Kallie Henson.
Thank you so much for having me, Ross.
Oh, my pleasure, Kallie. Thank you for being here. And tell us about that time where, like, what did it feel like? Where were you at it mentally? What was that place that you were in? If you can. I know this is always a difficult topic to open up.
No, absolutely. I mean, anyone who knows me now knows me as like a smiley, annoying, loud, giggly girl. So it comes as a shock to people, I think, when I open up about this. But a year and maybe a half ago, I went through a bit of a mental health crisis. Ended up getting signed off of work, going through pretty intensive therapy for a little while, and came out of it so much stronger and so much more grateful. Silver lining of it is that it led me to where I am today and led me into property, actually. So yeah, very grateful.
Well, if you can all watch the YouTube version of this, if you're not already, you can see the beaming smile that Callie has. And it is something that we all have carried at some point, Callie. We wear that smile. I've got an orange top on, I've got pink walls and yellow. Everyone thinks you're always happy.
Yeah.
But happy people also have to have the other end of the spectrum as well. They have to experience those moments too.
Yeah.
So what was it like? What did it feel like being signed off? Because sometimes people don't sign themselves off work because they feel guilty of like, well, no, what will my boss think? What will, my career will be over.
Yeah.
How did you make that brave decision? What happened?
I mean,
not what happened. You don't have to tell me exactly what happened, but how did you look after yourself in that way?
Yeah, I mean, as people will probably read from the bio, I like my background is fitness and bodybuilding. So something I always have held myself to is like a really strong line. And I think that was like the turning point for me. Is like you said, even the happiest people, they have things going on in the background, and we've all seen those kinds of quotes, those speeches. You know, check on the happiest people because they're the best at hiding it. And I think I had drawn myself to such a hard line. You know, push it down, push it down, push it down. Keep being happy, keep doing what you need to do. And one day it just completely came out of the blue. I just completely snapped, and I did self sign off. And the day that it happened, I had this overwhelming feeling of dread and embarrassment because I'd always been the happy, smiley, loud girl. Where has this come from? You know, it almost feels like imposter syndrome. Like, am I making this up because I've been so happy? But because I'm so passionate about my health, not just physical but mental. I realised I had to put myself first. If I didn't draw the line then, who knows where I would have ended up.
Wow, Callie, you have no idea how much I relate to this.
Yeah.
Like, this is honestly, I do weightlifting. I'm not a bodybuilder. I wouldn't say, like, do you actually do like the bodybuilding, like big heavy lifts?
No, I don't. I'm actually very weak. That's why I chose bodybuilding over powerlifting, is because bodybuilding lifting is all for aesthetics. It's not for strength. But yeah, I'm not strong.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't do like the big lifts and then like throw the weights down. But yeah, I do bodybuilding as well in that sense, like strength training,
Yeah,
weights. I go to the gym 6 times a week, and everyone's like, "What the hell? Like, how do you fit that in?" And I'm like, "How do you not?" Like, I go crazy at
yeah,
home if I don't. Sometimes I do double gym sessions where I do like yesterday I did a PT session,
yeah,
personal training, and then straight after I did an hour of core and conditioning. And, you know, maybe I took the core and conditioning a little bit lighter than normal.
yeah,
But yeah, like for me, honestly, Callie, like fitness, I used to be overweight when I was younger. I've never been like that skinny teenager
yeah.
ever. I couldn't
Me
even
too.
wear Converse and jeans because I was just so curvy.
Yeah,
I would like be wearing black trousers, flared trousers. I just didn't fit in with teenagers.
yeah, me too.
Um, Now everyone wonders where the curves are
The
coming
magic has
from.
happened.
I'm like, yeah, girl, like these have been, these have been out of fashion, but they're in fashion now. So I'm gonna
Bring
wear
them
them proudly.
back.
But because I am like, I've been reading personal development books, I'm surrounded, as you can see from my like shelf, I'm surrounded by like positive books
Yeah,
and positive thinking and, you know, mindset work and stuff like that. And but yeah, when something hits you, you go from like sky high to rock bottom, don't you? Because you're so happy,
yeah,
you really feel the highs and you really feel the lows.
yeah.
So that was a low moment in your life. What's been a high? Like, what's been like one of your greatest milestones, proudest moments?
I mean, personal achievements. I competed in my first competitions last year, which
What did you do? Tell me.
so I did two bikini like bodybuilding competitions. Uh, so I have the pictures somewhere of me, you know, like orange, like very very orange in the sparkly bikini with the like huge with the like really glamorous makeup on. And I
I
think
thought you were going to say with the huge boobs. I was like, wow, okay.
no, I wish. No, but
I was like, okay, fine.
I think the pride for me stems from that is obviously that's 6 months of like, you know, relatively unhealthy dieting, but that happened over the same time period that I was really struggling with my mental health. So
I was going to say, do you think bodybuilding actually had an impact, like competing with for a fitness bikini competition? Did that impact your mental health?
oh yeah, 100% for the better though I would say.
Oh, for the better.
Yeah, for the better. I needed, it's not like a creative outlet, but I needed an outlet, something to focus on. Because I think in that moment when I signed myself off after working, you know, I worked through college. I didn't go to university. I just went straight into work after that. After so long of working to then doing nothing, I needed something to feel like I was still adding value, or I still had a purpose, you know. And that was really what carried me over that time, I would say.
Amazing. So the opposite way round, where I've heard people do a bikini competition and then they get a little bit depressed after because
Mm,
you're sleep deprived, your hormones have changed,
yeah,
you don't look the same.
yeah.
Whereas you did it as a way to recover and restore your strength and health.
Yeah, and I, very similar to you, Roz. Like as a like teenage girl, I never fit in with the like beauty standards. I was always the chubby, awkward girl, and I actually didn't find the gym until I was like maybe 20, 21.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a later thing, but I have always really enjoyed. I know a lot of people that have been through kind of bodybuilding competitions or extreme diets, and then they really suffer mentally afterwards because it's not a healthy weight to maintain. You have to gain fat back, and they don't like the way that they look afterwards. I've always been really lucky that I've always had a very good relationship with my body, and being curvier is not something that I actually mind. So luckily, I didn't struggle with that.
Oh, that's really positive.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I've always had a problem with my body, even though
Oh,
people might find that surprising that, because I dress confidently, I do, when I walk into a room, I've got like a big blow dry, I've got like nice clothes and I do like dressing
yeah,
nicely. It's not about
yeah,
what size you are. I do like making myself feel good.
yeah,
But it doesn't necessarily mean that when I take my clothes off, I'm happy.
yeah,
And I think people find that but we have it, I just feel like, I've had that growing up and, now I feel better. I'm so much better because I'm at the gym and I'm training and I'm more about like my strength and my fitness.
yeah,
And I've worked on my mindset. So I definitely don't struggle with it as much as I used to. But yeah, our bodies, we're with them all day, aren't we? And we need to be kinder to ourselves for
yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
So you've gone from signing yourself off to now you're in a new career in your life. Tell me about this new career that you have and that you're trying to build. Where are you? What are you doing?
Yeah, sure. So I am a talent manager at NRG Resourcing. The overarching theme of NRG, I'm sure a lot of people watching this will already know, Marcus, but the overarching theme of NRG is we recruit in the real estate industry. I specifically work on the lender side, so mainly with bridging and development lenders. That's the kind of area that I sit. I would say what we pride ourselves in doing differently is acting more as a consultancy as opposed to just a recruiter. I wouldn't consider myself a salesperson or a recruiter, just trying to add value to these businesses. And sometimes when someone asks me what I do, I like to say I'm like the lending Cupid. Like I'll find your match for
Oh,
you.
I love that.
So cheesy.
Own it. That is your style. And I'm sure like your clients will appreciate you for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love it. So, what is it about this career that you would like to make out of it? What kind of vision do you have for your industry and for yourself in it?
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I really enjoy about what I'm doing at the moment is that every day is a chance to add value to someone's business. So I would say when it comes to a goal, I love doing what I'm doing. So continuing to do what I do and be happy, continue to be recognised for it is really important. I think breaking the boundary when it comes to how individuals view recruiters is really important as well. There are some bad eggs out there, just like in every industry there are. But we are, we're really trying to do things differently. So a win for me is someone actually just saying, thank you for actually just helping me out. Thank you for giving me advice, giving me insight. It's nice to be able to walk away from a meeting and think, I did good in there. I think they came out of it with something, or I came out learning something new about the industry. Property is a very interesting industry anyway. So every day is a learning day for me as well.
The property market look like right now? Because we're getting mixed reviews. So if you're recruiting in this market, in the lending market, what's the appetite? Is there a lot of redundancies? Is there a lot of job movers? Like what's happening right now? Give us a little overview.
Yeah. Okay. So I think bridging and development is, financial services as a whole is always going to be slightly more unstable, I would say, because politically the market is continuously changing. Hiring managers or MDs, founders are always going to be a little bit more risk adverse when it comes to recruiting, because in today's climate, you literally never know what's around the corner. You never know what's going to change. I would say that in terms of development finance in particular, there's definitely been an uptick, which is really nice to see after quite a while of it being quiet. Bridging is becoming, obviously, I'm sure you know better than I do, it's becoming less of a dirty word. People are taking it as a genuine option, which is only increasing growth even more than we've previously seen. Redundancy wise, in big banks and challenger banks, you are continuously seeing a cycle of chew up, change, spit out. And I don't think that that's something that will ever change either. Large corporations will always try to find efficiencies. They'll try to find ways to change their operation. How can we make this team leaner? How can we save money? And obviously with the introduction of AI, a lot more like administrative or clerical style roles are becoming redundant because of that. So it is a shame. We are seeing it, but it's a pretty constant thing that we have to deal with in financial services.
Have you adopted AI within the recruitment process?
Yeah, we have. There are a couple of things that we use. The biggest thing for us, because we are trying to be consultancy instead of just like a recruiter business, the only area that we can really kind of implement it at the moment and it not take away from the personal touch is note taking. So we have different AI systems that we use for note taking, filing, and kind of adding onto our CRM. We'll always look at ways to better the candidate journey. If we can free up more time, it means that we can spend more time on the phone with candidates and clients. But in terms of how to automate additional processes, I mean, the CRM bullhorn that we use is really good when it comes to automation. So any emails, note taking, like diary planning, things like that, we can let go of, which is really helpful.
Nice, yeah, for sure. And what about the opportunities in our space, in the property and finance industry for women? What kind of roles are you seeing? Are you seeing that gender equality and that, diversity kind of closing that gap? Is that closing, or are you still seeing a little bit of disparity there?
Yeah, it's such a tricky question to answer because as a woman, I am always, well, I mean, not just as a woman, I think as an ethical recruiter, we always try to make sure that our shortlists are extremely diverse. Ultimately, there is nothing we can do to stop the hiring manager making the decision they do, aside from educate them on the whys and the hows. When it comes to disparity in the market, financial services, I mean, it's a pretty even keel when it comes to just a flat line of who's in it and what's their gender. But those statistics kind of, I think, give you a false sense of security, because when you look at board and executive positions, there still is a huge disparity between men and women in leadership positions. There is an element of that conversation that can come into a consultancy like conversation we'll have with a client. But again, there's nothing that we can do to change an internal bias aside from ultimately not work with them.
Right, I see. So you take what, as a consultancy then, what advice would you give, let's say the women listening to this show, some of them are in employed careers and employed roles, and maybe they've just been plodding along doing what they do best, hoping that they will advance the ladder. Some have been more proactive at advancing that ladder, maybe working their way up. Some have made it, some are not that bothered. They have other priorities. So what kind of advice would you give to those women who are listening to this saying, well, how do I get myself on the board or become one of the senior leaders?
I think be loud. I think that a lot of women that I speak to to some extent are dealing with their own internal misogyny, where they're trying to keep themselves quiet, or they make excuses as to reasons they're not getting opportunities, and they're ignoring a very ugly fact that actually in their mind is like, oh, maybe it's because I'm a woman. You're dulling yourself down and you're letting yourself be walked over. I think for women who want to progress, you need to be loud. You do need to cause some problems. I think there are tons of fantastic women leaders who you should be following or should be aspiring to be looking towards, but also there are some fantastic male leaders in this industry who are fighting for equality. If you can get into the correct rooms, whether that be through relationships and networking, or whether that's through forcing yourself through the door, sometimes you have to put yourself in those uncomfortable positions. Some of the men that I've met in this industry who are advocates for female leaders are some of the most inspiring people I talk to. And although it's not something we like to admit, because they are men, they can sometimes open doors for you that you couldn't necessarily open for yourself.
Is the truth.
Yeah.
Is the truth. Yeah. So would love to know offline, by the way, without putting you on the spot, who those men are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because at the Money Honey podcast, we do just interview women, and I have been. But that's because I am very sensitive and very delicate about introducing men who want to come and speak on the show.
Yeah.
And I'll be on, I'm literally going to say that out there, and this is recorded. Call, pick me up on it later if you want to challenge me on the state, like the quote. But I just find that some men want to wave the flag and do it as a tick box that they are supporting women. Don't want to apologize about saying that at all, because I've seen it. I've seen men that I have had run-ins with that I would not give them the badge of supporting women, but they online appear to be. And I really, really hate that. And this show is not about calling them out. It's about, I love what you said about being louder. It's about us being loud. And this show has always come in peace and positivity. I've always shown this is a spotlight on the talented women in our industry, not naming and shaming the men. But can I just add, there is a lot of women who very recently in the property space have let women down massively.
Yeah.
There are women that, I was shut out of a group. I was literally kicked out of a WhatsApp group, a women's WhatsApp group overnight. I didn't even know why. And I approached her about it, and she made up some BS about it being I'm associated to someone else that she's got beef with. So because I'm friends with another girl who she's got beef with, I'm not allowed to be in this friendship group.
Yeah.
It's just playground stuff, absolute playground stuff. And she's gone on to cancel other women as well. If you are more talented, women will support women unless you are more talented, unless you are a threat, unless you are prettier. This woman who actually kicked me out of the WhatsApp group, she even had a little face to face when we saw each other before she kicked me out. She was commenting on my outfit. She was whispering in a guy's ear whilst I was doing my talk, right? Whilst I was doing a public talk to a room full of women, she was whispering in this guy's ear, looking at me, whispering. And I was like, that is not women supporting women. And she was wearing the label. She's all like, I'm here to empower women. I'm like, no, you're only here to empower women that you feel dominant over.
Yeah. And this is another problem that, will be covered at another time, but a lot of women there is sometimes a need for it, but to get into a leadership position, women feel like they have to have sharp elbows, feel like they have to be either putting other women down or butting them out the way, but it's just really not the case. You are a great example of that. When you build a community, it's unreal what you can achieve together, and everyone brings a different opinion, a different insight, a different connection. Everyone can open doors for each other. We just need to be willing to help each other and be willing to cheer each other on from the sidelines.
It's not happening for everyone, babe. It's not happening. I don't want to burst your bubble, but communities, I mean, I really do sincerely hope that every woman who has ever either seen my post, been on my show, come to an event,
Yeah.
whatever, like if your interaction with me has been anything but positive, you need to come and tell me. You need to call me out on that,
Yeah.
because I have nothing but, you know, kindness to promote, because when we're all winning. If you win, I win. Like, we're all winning. And it doesn't mean I have to be friends with every woman. I will also say, if we don't see eye to eye and we don't eye, it's fine. Just because you're a woman, we don't have to be my best friend. You don't have to like me. That's absolutely okay. But I have never gone out of my way to purposely put a woman down, or to make someone feel, or anyone down, male or woman. So, but unfortunately, I do see that happening. So, yeah, I hope that this community can change that. And thank you for being a part of it, because it's people like yourself that, you know, I really want on the show. So thank you for being on the show.
No, thank
Really
you
appreciate
so much,
it.
Roz. It's been really great.
Oh, good, good. I'm glad you've enjoyed it. And on that note, you know, if you are listening, you're a hiring manager, male or female, and you've seen Callie and you think, yeah, that's the right attitude to have, or I just want to have a friendly chat. I just want to know, what can I do for my career? Whether you're hiring, or whether you're looking for a career move, or, you know, you just want to get some guidance, I'm sure, Callie, you would be delighted to, you know, help anyone that reaches out.
Yeah, absolutely. Even if they're not in a position to move right now, if it's just for future planning, I'm always open to having a chat.
Is that LinkedIn? Is that the best place?
Yeah, LinkedIn's the best place to grab me for sure.
Okay, amazing. Well, thank you, Kallie Henson, for being a money honey on the show today. It's been a pleasure getting to know you and your story in such a short space of time. You've been vulnerable, you've been kind, you've been bubbly, and I just hope that people respect that of you when they listen. As always, I ask the listeners to be a part of this thriving community. Even if they're not speaking, they are hugely influential in how the show is shaped.
Yeah.
And, you know, as a listener, if you are watching something like this, your contribution is to like the post, comment, reach out to Callie, say well done, share it. You know, that is how you can make an impact. You don't have to be a speaker on the show to feel like you're part of the community. Every single one of you who either texts me or texts the speakers to say thank you for that means so much.
Yeah.
So I welcome you all to subscribe and come back again for another week of a new Money Honey guest. If you want to speak on the show, we're always open. Like, come and suggest. You know, Callie, you can even nominate or recommend anyone that you feel would be great for the show. We'd love to get your nominations. We love, you know, all walks of life, you know, people from all walks of life. There is no, you know, some people think, oh, my story is just not good enough or big enough. No.
Yeah.
Anyone can relate to anyone. So bring it along, bring it to the Money Honey, and we'll see you next week. Thank you, Callie.
Thank you, Roz.